Hi class, this is Christian here. I'm recording some tips and tricks as you're getting started with your still life projects to help you stay on track. Hopefully this will help, and if you have questions after this, of course, please contact me. You can, practice this with any kind of pencil. I'm just using a rainbow pencil. You could use mechanical, good old number 2s, or you can use any of the pencils that you took home with you. Okay, so first thing is shading from the line. So we talked about how we don't want to outline our objects because it's going to make them look like cartoons. So how do you do it then? If I need to create a separation, I'm going to put a light line, and then I'm going to turn my pencil, and I'm going to use the flatter side of my pencil. So you want a fairly good sharpened pencil. And I'm going to go up to that line, and with the tip of the pencil, I'm going to place it on the line. And then I'm going to just lightly shade from that line. I'm going to leave a part of this line not shaded so that you can see the difference. So, and then I'm going to, as I'm at the line, darker, and then coming towards you or towards the center of your object or the center of your fold if you're doing the crumpled paper, just light shading, okay? And then you can go in with your blending stump, okay? Or if you didn't take one with you, you can use a Q-tip. Try to avoid using your fingers just because it's going to leave the greases from your fingers on the paper, which then never go away. So then I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to use my blending stump to just blend lightly coming from that line. Okay, and then depending on if I want that to be a darker area or a lighter area, a little fuzzy there, I'm going to have to maybe go back in and put some more dark on. So that's called layering when I go back in with my pencil. And I've got some blended here, but I'm going to go back in because I want this to be darker. And same process. You're kind of pushing harder at the tip of the pencil and then less, and then bringing it back. And then you repeat the same step, going over and blending that in. Sometimes you can overblend, and in that case, you just want to just refresh it a little bit. And then we'll be able to see that it's creating a line without there actually being a line. Versus over here, if I were to keep this as a really dark line, it's going to look very different. Even if I shade from here, I'm going to have to do a lot of work to try to get rid of that line. And if I want this to look realistic, I'm trying to make sure that I don't see the outline of the edge of my objects. Okay, so that, as you can see, is going to be a lot harder to hide that line because now I can't tell if you can see this, but it's actually indented in the paper, and that's what will happen if you push too hard or if you're using a mechanical pencil. They scar the paper, so it actually is ripping the paper up a little. So now if I were to go in and try to erase this, I'm still going to see that line, okay? So always light lines until you really feel confident that that's what you want there, and then you can go darker and you can layer and you can add more. So when you're doing the crumpled paper, you're going to want to do this on your folds. So everywhere that you see a fold, there should be a pattern of light. So it should be where you're going to see some highlights and then some shadows and then some highlights and some shadows. And the separating is what you're going to do with your shading. Hope that helps.